think why if satellite tests destroy?
Earth will missing?
Aha! Are you sure?
Currently, there are over 5,000 satellites in orbit. That number is expected to at least double by the year 2025. And that doesn't include all of the 12,000 satellites that SpaceX's Starlink program plans to launch by 2027. So, nearly 20,000 satellites in space by the end of the decade?
So today, we will together explore more about satellite. I am Nurul Azmina. Will bring you there to the space. Heads up to fly. Satellite were divided into two categories, which are 1. Natural satellite, the moon. 2. Artificial satellite, man-made satellite.
A natural satellite is any celestial body in space that orbits around a larger body. Satellites that are made by people and launched into orbit using rockets are called artificial satellites.
First, for today, we will focus on communication satellite. What is that? Communication satellite is an artificial satellite that provide communication links between various points on the Earth. They plays important vital role to allow communication systems functioning well all around the world.
We may not realize how much we depend on satellites orbiting our planet. There are about 6,000 satellites currently orbiting the Earth, out of which about only 40% are operational, with the rest of the 60% being space junk.
Now, let's proceed with the function of communication satellite. Communication satellite play an important role in this aspect. They are TV access, communication system, the economy, and also the global positioning system GPS. The loss of satellite will interrupt the access to television. TV signal will lost and all people can't watch the television. As we know, television is one of our sources of information, but without TV, all people will be in trouble. Next, loss of satellite will also interrupt the communication access. People will unable to connect with each other. Because of that, families may be far apart between each other. There are many types of communication devices, and all of them really need satellite to function well. Losing of satellite also affect the world's economy since there's no communication present. People will have trouble on making transactions. All people will start bankrupt, same goes to the bank. The shops will lose their marketer. And for sure, the groceries will be out of stock. Huge financial issues will globally occur. Next, people also will lose access to GPS. All ships, airplane, and also drivers that use maps will lose their directions. People need start to use map and compasses to find directions. Also, world defense sector will expose to the danger.
Another devastating consequence of this would be the loss of Global Positioning System, or GPS. So people traveling by air, land, or sea would be in major trouble. For example, planes in the sky wouldn't be able to navigate without any air traffic control and would have to rely on analog instruments and maps to determine their location. The same will be true for ships and land vehicles. But air traffic controllers would have the most difficult task out of these three forms of travel, since planes without navigation and timing services would be at major risk of crashing.
So, why do you think satellite can destroy? Let me explain to you. Space junk occurs when collision of satellite in space. Collision of satellite will smash appertento thousands of pieces. Thus, it creates lots of new debris. Now, what happened to the destroyed satellite? Will they crash our Earth?
Well, if 20,000 satellites were falling to Earth, it wouldn't happen instantly. That's because the satellite's speed and positions in space could make some of them take longer to come crashing down. If a satellite was 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's atmosphere, it might take over 100 years before it finally fell to the ground. So, all these satellites falling to Earth would be a long, drawn-out process. And luckily for us, when they do finally fall on Earth, a lot of them will get burned up by our atmosphere. But that still doesn't mean we'd be completely safe. Sure, the pieces would be smaller than a satellite, but they wouldn't completely disintegrate. Usually, before a satellite comes back down to Earth, we have some sort of control over it. Scientists will use the satellite's last bit of fuel to guide it towards somewhere in the ocean or an unpopulated desert. But if 20,000 satellites fell to Earth, they'd go wherever they please. Many of them would dive into the oceans, since they make up 71% of our Earth's surface. But lots of these satellites would end up on land. They could destroy entire buildings and towns, as they'd be traveling at speeds of up to 28,000 kilometers per hour. Even if small chunks of satellites managed to hit the ground, their shockwaves could cause considerable damage.
Yes, destroyed satellite will crash our Earth, and we will not be safe. It's very dangerous. But hey, don't worry. Falling of crash pieces of satellite is a normal event. 1. All satellite were far from Earth. They take about 100 years before fall to the ground. 2. Some of satellite will disintegrate in space. 3. Scientists have ability to guide the destroyed satellite towards somewhere in unpopulated place. However, they still can crash the buildings once they arrive in Earth. They crash the building, burning on the houses and even fall into the sea. They also will making damage on whatever on the Earth grounds.